Good morning, it's Barbara. It is wet and rainy outside. Of course, my cushions are still out there from Monday, so everything's wet. Boo. So I'll be inside, and Vicky's in here eating her yogurt. She's going home today, so we'll be going to the airport. Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. So we're in the house because of the rain. Yeah, so Vicky's been here a week, and she heads out today, this afternoon, so we'll be leaving here in about an hour to take her to the airport, and she can be on her way. But it's been lovely having her. She got to visit her mom a lot. And, yeah, so that's today's task that we know about. Who know? Oh, and I have lemons that I have to peel. So I'm going to do those. So the other day I was kind of ranting about the post office. That's because I got well, Verena and I have been talking about the post office because she said she sent something to me and wasn't sure because this whole mail, what we're doing with international mail in the United States, I don't even understand it, but it's a real stupid thing. I mean, let's face facts. But either way, she was concerned that I would have to pay. I keep wanting to say tariff. It's not tariff. Like if you have to pay when something comes in the mail, but usually the word comes, later. This word hasn't come. Anyway, you know what I mean. Anyway, we're doing something weird internationally with mail, which is making me a little bit crazy. But she had a notification that it was in the United States last week, and so we were having a conversation about the mail. But anyway, they tried to deliver it on Saturday, but nobody was home, and it needed a signature, so anyway. My gift from Verena came yesterday. We have, our monthly Zoom calls. And our next one is on the 20th, mark your calendar. And very often, Verena lately has been making shorty socks on our Zoom call. And I keep saying, I got to make some shorty socks because I don't have any shorty socks. She sent me shorty socks. Aren't they wonderful? And these are not as pristine as these because I wore them yesterday. They came in the mail and I put them on and wore them to walk the dogs. And they're wonderful. They fit me beautifully and I love them. So thank you so much, Verena. I've already talked to her. Well, how as we do in this day and age across the ocean. But aren't they wonderful? Love. And they feel so smooth and soft, and look how beautiful they are. I feel a little bad that I wrecked the view because I wore them. But anyway, so they finally came yesterday and they were great. They were in a envelope about this big, and she had vacuum sealed them, so it was this really solid envelope. But a lot of international dyers are vacuum sealing their yarn because it makes for a much smaller package, and every little bit helps. So anyway, thank you again, my dear. Oh, love, because she knew I wasn't going to actually make them because I can barely, I didn't knit anymore on my DAF days, but I think today feels like a little bit of a knitting day, although I do have to peel my lemons. But I made crackers last night and then they dehydrated overnight. I just put them away, so that works out. That's the second time I've done that, made them late at night. I mean, I started like at 11 o'clock last night. Yeah, crazy. But it works out because I do like to dehydrate them for like 8 or 9 or 10 hours. So that works out. So anyway, thank you again, Verena. They are lovely. So yesterday, I went to the doctor. I went to see the neurologist. So a little tiny recap if you've missed it. You know, this is like soap operas. You never miss anything because they just go over everything and everything. I've been having these and not as often now, but in the past month, little episodes where my mouth and my hand would go numb and tingly. And just for like 5 minutes, and then it would stop. So it got to be worrying. But I'm going to pause you because Dennis wants to make his coffee. And then I'll tell you what happened. Okay, he's done. So, these episodes only last for 5 minutes, but in between there's like the tiniest bit of different sensation in my fingertips and my tongue, because half my tongue goes. It's very weird. So anyway, that's been going on for 6 weeks or so. So I had a CAT scan that didn't show anything. I had my carotids got ultrasounded on Friday. That was clear. So yesterday I had a visit with a neurologist. Now, as a neurologist, he's like, sort of very grandfatherly type guy. It was just, I'm guessing Indian or Pakistani extraction, but very grandfatherly. He was very funny. But so I go in his office and he's like looking at my paperwork I just filled out, and he says, "Oh, do you have any children?" I said, "Yes, I have 2. They're all grown up." He said, "Oh, do they live around here?" I said, "No, my daughter's in Mississippi." "Oh, Mississippi. Oh, that's far." I'm like, "Yeah, it's far." He said, "That's the poorest state in the country." I'm like, "Yes, I'm aware of that." She works in the state university system, and it's the poorest, education system in the country too. He's like, "Oh, yeah, Ole Miss." And he gets on his computer. He's like Dennis. Like, if you have a conversation with Dennis and something comes up in the middle of the conversation, that something will strike Dennis, and he's like on his phone looking things up. I mean, I guarantee you, if you're having a conversation about something and it kind of goes wide, at one point he's on his phone looking something up, because he's a curious guy. Well, apparently this doctor's a curious guy too. So we're sitting there, and I'm there because I'm, worried about whatever, and he's on his computer looking up Ole Miss, and I'm like, I don't think Ole Miss is the university in Oxford, Mississippi. And I said, "I don't think Ole Miss is in the state system." And he said, "Oh, no, this Mississippi State University, that's in the state system." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the one, not Ole Miss." "Okay, all right." But this is interesting. And he's like digging into the website of the University of Mississippi at the beginning of my doctor's appointment. Now, and finally I say, "Can we just," and he's like, "Oh, okay." He was so funny. And I said, I really do appreciate a doctor that isn't on a 10-minute schedule or 15 minutes. I mean, they give you 15 minutes. They're in and out, And this guy definitely was not. I got in there late. Gee, I wonder why. So I do appreciate that. Apparently we had as much time in the world as we wanted. But I am like, "Can we, okay. So he listened to me tell my story about my symptoms, and he said, "Oh, I know what this is." I'm like, "Oh, so here I am, good news, bad news." The good news is he knows what it is. It's face and hand syndrome. I'm like, "Oh, well, that makes sense, And for the bad news is that he believes this is my body warning me that I have a potential for a stroke. That's the bad news. The bad news is stroke. Possible, like this is the warning sign. Typically, face and hand syndrome is the result of a stroke. People who, the side of their face droops and they can't use their hand as well or whatever. That's face and hand syndrome. This is like very mild and a precursor he thinks. So anyway, that's what he thinks I have. He's very interested in seeing the MRI, which I have scheduled for the end of the month, and I have another appointment to see him at the beginning of October. He says, "Be sure and get that MRI on a CD, it's yours and you're allowed to take. I'm like, okay, now I've got the hiccups. Oh, and I'm pulling on my ear. So that's the next part of the story. So anyway, you know, so here I am. Excuse me while I wipe my ear. I'll talk about it later. Now I'm, you know, Googling how to prevent a stroke. And trying to make sure that I can identify easily a stroke, because apparently being treated within 3 hours of the first symptoms of a stroke is the difference between recovery and permanent problems. So Dennis and I are becoming very aware of what to look for, and, you know, in case I have a stroke. But meanwhile, I'm doing some things. I made some changes that I think will help me not have a stroke, which, you know, would be a good thing. So anyway, so that's the story, kids. Friday, I have an echocardiogram, Friday afternoon. And then on the 29th, I have my MRI. So we shall see. And coincidentally, in all this, I also have my yearly checkup. So I'll be talking to my doctor about this, because I didn't actually see her. I saw the physician's nurse practitioner, and she's the one that got all this started for me. So I liked her a lot. Yeah. You hear a lot of stories about women who go in with, you know, weirdo symptoms like I have, and they're told they're hysterical, you know. I mean, they don't say that, but it's like, oh, dismissive. People are often dismissive, so nobody's been dismissive, and I appreciate that. So anyway, that was the result of my doctor's visit. So we are doing a lot of Googling, and like I said, made a couple changes that I think will help, and try to be better on my diet, which will help, because, you know, it's like every single thing is caused by inflammation. Name one chronic disease that's not caused by inflammation. Good luck with that. So anyway, so I went to the doctor, and I had a physical therapy appointment in the afternoon, and they were kind of close, but not close enough that I didn't have, you know, so I had time, but I didn't have time to go home. So I talked to you the other day about my ear. Like, I put earrings in on Monday, I think. And I had to kind of re-pierce my ear, because I'm not wearing earrings a lot, because I'm not going very many places. I'm no longer doing it on the vlog, although I may go back to doing it on the vlog. And they interfere, you know, masking. I mask anytime I'm going to be out and in a building, public building, I mask. So earrings kind of interfere with that. So I've taken to not wearing my earrings, and I had a problem at my right ear. Has always been a problem, and anyway, it half closed. So I had to kind of re-pierce it to wear the earrings. So now it's open and healing. But the problem is, I'm a bold earring wearer, if you OGs know that, because one of the things that I was doing several years ago on the vlog was going through my earring wardrobe every day, telling you about my earrings. And I have my earring, I made an earring holder for my walls, because I have lots of earrings. So, but I don't have any good earrings that can stay in 24/7 for a long time, that I can sleep on. So I found these earrings that had a very straight post that I could use basically as a piercer and keep them in, but they were just uncomfortable to sleep in. I just, you know, but I didn't want to take them out. So anyway, I have this time between my appointments, and I thought, let me go to a jeweler and I'll just buy some little tiny gold hoops. I'll be able to wear them all night, blah, blah, blah. So I go to this only jeweler that I could think of that was, you know, in the area. Very high-end. High-end jeweler. But I'm thinking simple gold hoops, they'll have something. Not a simple gold hoop in the whole place. They did have 2 pairs of the little ball posted earrings that you sometimes get. Now, I know Mary has told me more than once I should go to the piercing place in the mall, but that didn't work out. So anyway, I'm in this jewelry store. They got the balls. But they have long posts in the back, which stick you when you're sleeping, because then I sleep on the side. The only little tiny hoops they had were very cute, very beautiful diamonds, $400. I'm like, I am not spending $400. Well, it was never a question, but for earrings so I can sleep in them, But anyway, so that was kind of ridiculous. No plain gold hoops in a jewelry store? Seriously? Like, there was no section for, like, children's jewelry. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, they had nothing. So I'm driving back, and and I'm like, hello? Barbara? Hello? I have made hundreds of pairs of earrings in my day because I was making and selling jewelry 10 years ago, 12 years ago. When I was making my beads, I would turn it into jewelry and sell it. And I made ear wires and whatever. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm like looking for something small that I can wear, that I can sleep on, that won't hurt, that I can keep in. I'm like, I have sterling silver wire in my craft room. I can't even believe I didn't even think about it. I mean, I slept on those uncomfortable earrings and Anyway, so I made myself some earrings last night. And they're really working. Now, this ear is still hurting, so, it's probably getting, a little re-injured when I'm sleeping on those big earrings that I'm, and no wonder I didn't sleep very well. My ear hurt and I had earrings in. Anyway, so I made myself some earrings yesterday that I plan to keep in for a while till that hole heals. And I'm hoping, since I re-pierced it, it might actually be a better hole now. When I got these ears pierced when I was 16, like a fool, I went to the doctor. This was very early in the ear piercing thing. And he took a curved needle and he did one. I said, forget it. I don't want the other one. He said, well, you'd be the second person that did that. I'm like, you should rethink your technique, dear. I didn't say that I was 16, but I've thought it since. Anyway, something about this ear hole has always been a problem getting earrings in. Maybe I fixed that. I don't know. So anyway, that's the story of yesterday. I made a little notes on my pad that Lisa sent me the other day. Oh, last night we had a little bit of drama around here because Vicky goes out whenever she comes. She goes out with a group of her friends because she used to live in this area and worked in the same place Dennis worked and has lots of friends here. So when she comes and visits, they get together at a local bar and hang out for a while. And she got home last night and she didn't have her phone. And it's crazy when you think about it, and I've got to do something to, copy my phone because she has an iPhone and she uses the iCloud, so at least her phone's backed up, but she's leaving today. Anyway, it was, and, all her communication and everything she does through her phone. So she's trying to figure out how to get a hold of the guy who just dropped her off. She doesn't have his information, It's like, oh my, I'm messaging him on, I found him on Facebook and messaged him. And anyway, she got her phone back. But it was, and the thought of trying to travel across the country these days without a phone is, I don't know. I can remember, doing my, when I commuted, I had a long commute, but once I got a cell phone, I felt very nervous if I was doing my commute and I forgot my phone, But I did that commute for years without a phone. Never thought twice about it. So we get very dependent on our phones. And I do not have an iPhone, and I do not have a cloud backup of my phone. So I might just want to back everything up. You know, mostly my contacts and my pictures. Anyway, so that was the excitement last night. Not very fun. But Dennis and Vicky went and got it, and so all's well that ends well, as they say. So that was yesterday. Quite exciting, right? I mean, oh my gosh. So anyway, I'm working on my anti-stroke regime, and yeah, I'm not sad that my episodes are very few and far between these days. In the beginning, they were happening almost every day and sometimes more than once a day. But in the last 3 weeks, I would say, I only had 1 episode. So that feels good. And I have a little bit of a tingle on my tongue, but not too much. So I'm hoping, and I'm not as stressed as I was. I've gotten nothing pending in the executrixing front. I've gotten everything I needed to do. Although I haven't heard back from Peter. I emailed him the things on Monday saying hallelujah, and I didn't hear back from him. So I'm gonna email him again today and say, did my thing go in the spam folder, or are you just not as excited as me? But so I'm hoping that being in a less stressful situation is gonna have a good effect. That's what I'm hoping. So anyway, that's it for me today. It's a long one. Leslie's getting a lot of spinning done. I would say Vicky's getting a lot of bicycling done because apparently she does her bike while I'm talking to her. But she's here listening, so I don't think she's going to listen to this again. But anyway, happy spinning, Leslie. Thank you again, Verena. Aren't they wonderful? And thank you, everybody. Mark your calendar for the 20th. That's when our Zoom is. And yeah, I don't think I'll have hardly anything to talk about when I talk about let's hope it's a completely uneventful drive to the airport and there's nothing to talk about. That's what we're hoping for. So, yeah. Maybe I'll knit today because it's rainy, it's dreary. Oh, I'm wearing my other sea salt. And this is Yoshi and Lucy. I don't even know if they still make yarn, but this is Yoshi and Lucy yarn, and this is the first one that I made. But the deal is I didn't have quite enough yarn, and so I made it a little smaller. So it's a little smaller. It's shorter, and but it's comfy. It's bad. My bra straps show. I had some ideas about what I was going to do about that, but now I just wear it without a bra and it's fine. That works out great. So it's comfy in this kind of weather, and yeah, Yoshi and Lucy, Lucy and Yoshi, something like that. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please stay safe and stay sane.